it's a difficult time to recruit retail like big box stores to a community our size, just based on all of the online things that are going on and the challenges that retailers have right now.
I'm Cristina Janney with the Hayes Post and Eagle Radio, and I'm speaking with Doug Williams of Grow Hayes about retail recruitment on this episode of the Hayes Post podcast.
Well, it's a common topic that we get asked a lot as an economic development organization because everybody would like to see more retail, more choices. And we are in a very challenging environment for retail recruitment, but it is something that we're working on all the time. And while retail recruitment typically is not something that has fallen into the purview of economic development in the past, the concept in the past and in other places typically is that if you recruit the manufacturer or the large employer, once you have a sufficient population, retail will be a natural byproduct of that process. But in our community, we're a little bit different in that the city of Hayes and Ellis County both have sales tax. And so a significant portion of their budgets does come from sales tax collection. So retail becomes very important. So we're consistently working on retail recruitment. But as I noted earlier, it's a difficult time to recruit retail like big box stores to a community our size, just based on all of the online things that are going on and the challenges that retailers have right now.
Well, there's the cost of land and there's the cost of building new buildings are both pretty high right now, especially in Hayes.
Absolutely. The land costs have always been high in Hayes. That's a challenge. It's not the only one, but it's a challenge. And then also the cost to construct a new building is very expensive as well. To just give an example, if a big box retailer came in and they needed 20,000 square feet, they could expect to probably spend about $5 million on building that building, about $250 a foot right now. And they would expect to pay $10 a square foot in a lease. So that's $200,000 a year for 20,000 square feet. Well, that represents a 4% return for someone who owns that building. And most of these retailers do not own their own buildings. They have an investor own those. They put their money into inventory and that type of thing. And 4% does not work. Just simply no one in today's environment is going to make an investment in a commercial building and get a 4% annual return. So you have to figure out other ways to make that work. Most of the time, what you've seen in communities our size is retailers go into second and third generation buildings, like Hobby Lobby did, where they went in Hayes, the old Walmart location, because those are buildings that were bought for much less money, and consequently a $8 to $10 per square foot rental figure works in those situations. But to construct new is very difficult when you consider the cost of new construction as well as the cost of land, as you noted.
Well, the same thing happened with Ollie's and Harbor Freight and Dollar Tree. They went into the mall, the existing space, and did not build new. Exactly.
That is what you see in smaller communities. And unfortunately, I guess I'm not sure if this is fortunate or unfortunate, but we don't have a lot of space like that. I know I've seen other communities where a Marshall's or TJ Maxx or Pet Sense or something like that goes into a community. But in almost all cases, in communities our size, they're going into older buildings because the cost of occupancy is just so much less in an older building than it is in a new build.
Well, and population has an effect on that. A lot of big box and chain retailers or fast food don't want to go into a location unless there's a certain amount of population that they can draw from.
Definitely. Demographics always play a significant role in their decisions as to where they go, and not just the local demographics, but regionally they look at the population because they know that communities like ours we draw from a large area, and so they'll look at not only our geography, our demographics within, say, Ellis County, but they'll look at a 60-mile radius or thereabouts and the population that exists in that kind of a geography.
Well, and warehousing and transportation can also be another factor. Like where in the region is a warehouse for that company, and how are they going to get product to our location?
Definitely. We've as an example, we've talked to Aldi's before, the grocery store chain, and we would be a good fit for that company in terms of a location they'd like to go, but we're outside their current distribution system. They don't go west from here. They go to Salina and then they go east and that kind of thing. So it's logistically for them, it's a challenge. And so that presents a reason why they don't come here, and other big box stores are the same way.
Well, and workforce is also an issue. We've talked about that many times before.
Huge issue. When you have 1.3% unemployment, and you take everybody always talks about Target. We don't fit the demographic for a Target. We just don't have enough regional population to draw from. But they would need 200, 300, 400 employees, and that's just simply not available here right now.
Right. Are there other factors that I'm not thinking of that we need to talk about?
Well, I think the main thing that people need to understand is we are consistently talking to people about coming here. We'd love to, some specific areas that we'd like to focus on when you talk about retail, or some sort of department store like a Kohl's or a Marshall's, TJ Maxx for clothing, PetSense, restaurant-wise. We consistently working on Chick-fil-A. They've been here the last 60 days with their...
I've seen the lines.
Yeah.
You would think that they would put a store here.
Well, and I think they'd kill it here. They really would. But they're very particular as to where they go. They want a location that's close to the interstate, Vine Street frontage. So they're not going, if you're not half a block or a block north or south of I-70, they're not going to consider it. So those are considerations as well. And if you drive up and down Vine, it's not like we've got a lot of empty space. You're going to have to knock down a hotel or do something like that in order to gain some space right on Vine Street.
And to your point earlier, the people who own those properties are asking a lot for them.
Well, they have a lot of value. The raw land that is available, there's really no raw land south of I-70 to speak of. The mall parking lot could house a restaurant of some sort. There's enough room there. And then when you go north of the interstate, land prices are high, and accessibility can be an issue sometimes. So there's just some challenges to get it done.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Doug?
Well, I think that, as I noted, we are consistently working on retail prospects. We'd love to see some sort of a grocery store operation on the east side of Hayes. I think there's a sufficient amount of population out there that it could support one. Figuring out who that is and where they would go, that's a challenge. But nonetheless, we continue to work on it.
Well, and grocery stores move a lot of product, but their margins are pretty slim, as I understand.
It's a tough business. A lot of perishable items, and they are narrow margins, and it's a difficult business, but a necessity. People have to shop, and convenience plays a role in that.
And competition is good.
Competition is always good. We like to see competition, and that helps keep prices in line and gives people a variety.
Is there anything else going on at Grow Hayes you want to talk about this morning, Doug?
Well, I'd mentioned on March the 5th, we're going to have our quarterly luncheon at Brief Space. The topic is going to be, it's a 2023 housing report, so that should be a good event to attend. We ask that anybody that would like to attend just RSVP, so we know how much food to get. It is a luncheon, so we need to know from that. So you can just call or email our office and get your name on the RSVP list. And then on March the 13th, we have a tentative grand opening at the Microfactory. We've invited the Lieutenant Governor to come out. He was out for the groundbreaking, so it seems appropriate that he would be here for the ribbon cutting for the facility. We're just wrapping up the final touches on the facility, so we're planning to have that at the Microfactory on March 13th. I think at 10 a.m. We'll keep you posted on the details on that.